Welcome to the Poochie Baby Podcast. This is Michelle, your host, and I am the owner and operator of PoochieBaby.com. In today's episode, I want to talk to you guys about my favorite yarns. Just let me say that I am a very frugal person. I do not like to pay a lot of money for my yarn. There are a few times that I have spent more purchasing some skeins of yarn to make some very nice blankets, but those occasions have been very few and far between. The reality is I buy cheap yarn and I find a way to make it work. If you're like me and you don't want to spend a lot of money on your stash, then I have some ideas of the yarns that would work pretty well. There are 4 that are my favorite, and the first one that I will start with is the yarn that actually comes from Hobby Lobby. It is Hobby Lobby's store brand, which is called I Love This Yarn. It comes in 7-ounce skeins, and the color selection is unbelievable. You can go into the store and just be blown away by how many colors are available for you to buy. The great thing about this also is that if you don't have a Hobby Lobby in your area where you can go into the store and purchase it, you can just get online at hobbylobby.com and buy it through them. Of course, you're going to have to pay for shipping, but a lot of times they have deals where if you purchase a certain amount that they will give you free shipping. So this yarn is really great to work with also. It's super soft. It washes really well and it stays on your hook. And if you know what I'm talking about, it doesn't split where you're constantly having to grab it on your hook. It just works up really, really nicely. And when you're making a blanket or some other item, it stays pretty true to form. So it keeps its shape when you're working with a piece also. So that is my first choice of yarn. It's not my best choice of yarn because I very seldom go into Hobby Lobby. I used to do this all of the time when I was closer to a Hobby Lobby on my way home from my office. I could just stop in. But at this point, it's all the Hobby Lobby stores in the area are at least a 30-minute drive for me. So I don't go as much as I used to. Now, my number 2 choice for yarn is the Red Heart Super Saver. Now, if you've been around yarn for a while, you know that this is the cheapo yarn that you can go into Walmart and buy at your local Walmart store as long as they have a craft department. It is very affordable. You can get smaller skeins, but the regular size skein of the Super Saver is usually 7 ounces, or they have the larger one, which is double that, the 14 ounces. Gone are the days where you can go in and buy an 8-ounce skein of yarn. Everything is 7 ounces now. But it usually costs under $3 to buy one of these skeins of yarn, or maybe it might cost right over $3. So it is extremely affordable, and Red Heart also comes in so many different color varieties. You can go in there and find 6 different shades of pink. So I love using this yarn. It is the number 1 yarn that I use when I am making new patterns because it is easy for me to work up and try to design something using this particular brand. A lot of people don't like the Red Heart Super Saver because they feel like it's too scratchy. There is a way to avoid this. You can either wash this yarn before you start using it or just wait and wash your piece when it is done. I prefer to wash after I have completed whatever project I'm working on, especially blankets, because I like things to hold their shape while I'm working on them. You can soften up this yarn very easily. All you have to do is make sure that you use liquid fabric softener when you are washing it. And if you don't feel like one wash is enough, go ahead and run it through the wash twice with liquid fabric softener. Put it in the dryer and use some dryer sheets, and it gets extremely soft. It is great. I have blankets that I've made years ago that are still together and are very soft, and they are just Red Heart Super Saver yarn. So even though it's a cheap yarn, I think it's great. It holds up extremely well, and it is 100% washer and dryer safe. This yarn can also be bought online, and I will put all the links to these in the show notes on the blog post where you can just go online. There will be a link to Hobby Lobby where you can find the yarn, and also links to where you can purchase these other yarns on Amazon. So number 2 was the Red Heart Super Saver. My number 3 is also Red Heart, but it is the Red Heart with Love. Now this yarn has a different texture to it. It is made to be softer than the Super Saver. So it's a very silky yarn. It's a little bit more bulky, so it is great to use with for making scarves, hats, that type of thing. Also blankets, I have made some blankets using the With Love. Now the skeins are a little smaller than the Super Saver skeins. I believe in the beginning they were 7-ounce skeins just like everything else, but they have downsized them to either a 5 or 6-ounce skein. So you are getting less yarn for your money. So it's more expensive than the Super Saver, but it's still worth it, especially when you're doing small projects. If you're just making one scarf, you only need 1 skein of yarn, and it's super affordable that way. So that is my number 3 yarn that I love, and that is the Red Heart With Love yarn. My number 4 that I love, and this is a new love for me, is the Bernat Baby Sport Weight yarn. I don't know why I did not start using this yarn years ago. I can buy 1 skein because it comes in a big ball, and I can make a receiving size blanket for a baby using 1 skein of yarn, and it is light and fluffy and just very soft. It washes really nicely. It's durable for the washer and the dryer, which makes it great for making baby blankets that they can use for years up into the toddler years. The only downside to this particular yarn in this brand is that it doesn't come in a huge assortment of colors. Because it is a baby sport weight yarn, it comes in more of the pastels and the baby colors, and there's several different multicolored yarns that are more of the baby colors. But still, when you're making things for babies, that's not a big deal. You just use one of these yarns. I know that I love the mint color, the yellow mint, I believe a lavender, the pink of course, and then the different selections of the multicolored yarns. I believe there's also an aqua colored, different colors, but I will put those links in there. You can see the different color selections on Amazon, and that's a great way to buy this yarn. It's also available at Walmart. It's one of the things that they do carry in the stores usually, that you can find it there. But it's an awesome option for making a whole layette. You can make a receiving size blanket, make some booties to go with it, maybe a hat, and you can pretty much get that all done with 1 skein of the solid colors. I can't guarantee that for the multicolored yarns because of the less yardage comes on the skein for the multicolors than the solid colors. That's something to keep in mind for all yarns actually. The solid colors usually have more yardage than the others do, so if you're looking at a pattern and seeing how much yardage you may need, keep that in mind. So that is my number 4 favorite yarn. Other than that, I don't use too many other types of yarn. When I like to make a soft silky blanket, I have in the past used the Lion brand homespun yarn. That is more expensive, and if you're going to make a decent sized blanket or lap throw for the couch, it's going to cost you more money. But I have done it because I made a special blanket for my daughter, and I used a ton of that yarn, and I would have never gone out and paid that much money for that blanket, but I made it, so that was different. It was handmade by Mom, so there you go. If you have any questions about any of these yarns, you can always put it down in the comments below the show notes on the blog, or you can find me over on Facebook. Just put in at my Poochie Baby and my page will come up. Make sure to like it so you can get all the notices over there. You can also find me on Twitter. You can ask me a question there, and I am Michelle_Gaylor over on Twitter. You can also find me on Instagram at Michelle Gaylor, all one word. You can also follow my Pinterest boards, and that is my Poochie Baby. Just search for that and follow me there. Of course, everything can be found on the blog, which is poochiebaby.com, and that is poochie-baby.com. Sign up for the newsletter and you will be notified of everything that goes on over on the blog. That means you get notified when I put up a new video, a new podcast, any blog post that may come through, any new patterns that might be available on the site and in the store. So that is all for today and my thoughts about yarn. Thank you for listening, and I will talk to you guys next time.